me ask you about this. Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips is stepping down from his leadership position in the House, citing different opinions on whether or not Biden should have a primary challenger. What did you make of this? How significant is that?
I don't think it's significant at all. Congressman Phillips, I think, is completely unserious when it comes to somebody who might be thinking about doing this. Is what I've.
But a lot of polls show. I mean, a lot of polls showed there's a significant number of Democrats who have that same point of view.
But at the end of the day, you ask those Democrats, if not Biden, then who?
Right.
Then who? Right. So to me, that poll question is completely idiotic, with all due respect, because it means nothing. It's completely irrelevant. The majority of Republicans also don't want to see a Donald Trump and Joe Biden rematch. The majority of Americans don't want to see that rematch. I don't want to see that rematch because it's bad for our mental health. But we also know that Donald Trump is a huge danger to our democracy. Joe Biden beat him once already. And when you look at the majority of polls, the polls of polls, it's either a dead heat or Joe Biden is ahead by a couple of points. We haven't even started this campaign. The Republicans have been campaigning and mobilizing their MAGA base for months because of the chaotic primary that's going on their side. I am not worried about where things are, but we absolutely have to keep in mind that this will be a close race. It is a very divided country. But at the end of the day, you're not going to have any independents or people who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 who are now going to look up and say, oh, Donald Trump, right? He now has 4 indictments, 91 charges. I think now I can vote for him. Well, that's not happening.
I don't know what polls my dear friend Maria has been looking at, but many of them show it's either a head-to-head matchup with Biden and Trump, or either a dead heat, or recent ones, Trump is ahead, and even in some, Nikki Haley is ahead of Joe Biden. And with him having approval ratings around 40 and approval of his handling of the economy around 40%, that is not good. And you even have people like James Carville saying, Democrats, you need to worry about this and whether or not we need to put another Democrat on the ballot.
That's
insanity. I know that you're optimistic, but not many Democrats are.
Let me say this, and I've said
but
this before.
Biden has been in this place before.
Yes. Not only that, Jim, but I say this all the time. We absolutely should be worried. Yes, we need to wake up and run every single day like Joe Biden is 10 points behind. That's the only way that we will win. But the insanity of thinking that we should now replace Joe Biden with somebody else is exactly that. And anybody who says that, anybody on my team who says that we need to think about replacing Biden or is worried about his age is playing into Trump, is playing into making Trump stronger, is playing into wanting Trump to win. So anybody on my side who wants Joe Biden to win, they just need to shut up right now.
All right. You heard her, James Carville. Anytime James wants to come on, he's welcome. Alice, Maria, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
All right. Larry, let me ask you this. I want to see if you could weigh in on Congressman Dean Phillips stepping down from the Democratic leadership role. He has openly questioned having Joe Biden, whether Joe Biden should run for a second term or whether there should be a primary challenger for President Biden. What do you make of this? And it sounds like, I mean, we were talking to Maria Cardona about this earlier on in the program, and as well as Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It sounds like Dean Phillips is rather lonely in this regard when it comes to Democratic lawmakers.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
He's really the only one. In fact, I don't think there are many of them privately who've even expressed the kinds of doubts that Dean Phillips has. And look, it's his right he's an elected official in the party. He can say whatever he wants, but there are consequences for doing what he has done. And he has isolated himself. Maybe he'll be proven right eventually. I don't think so myself, but it's possible he will be. But being a prophet doesn't always make you popular in your own time. And he clearly is very unpopular within the Democratic caucus right now.
And Scott, I mean, I guess one of the things that is kind of interesting about all of this is that the Democrats and their leadership were rather efficient and streamlined in I guess, showing Phillips the door, or perhaps he saw the light and thought it was a good time to leave. Whereas on the other side of the aisle, it's just not that disciplined right now. How do you see Kevin McCarthy getting through this next period?
Well, Phillips is part of the leadership, and the Republican leadership is fine. It's the fringe of the party, the fringe of the fringe. And occasionally, as you all may have noticed, the fringe of the Democrats causes them some headaches from time to time. Phillips may be lonely as it relates to Democratic elites, but he's not lonely as it relates to Democrats in every poll I've ever seen who really would prefer it if Biden didn't run and they had other options. So I can see why he's doing this. I believe it is a long shot. They have changed the rules to make it nearly impossible to get rid of Joe Biden. But if you just look at the polling, it's quite obvious Democrats are nervous about Biden's prospects in 24, and they really wanted some other choices.
Yeah, but when you talk to Democratic lawmakers, I mean, it's almost everyone down the line. They're just not going there in the direction that Dean Phillips is trying to go. Scott Jennings, Larry Sabato, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.